Hey guys, welcome back from Classic Work. I got a request that a lot of y'all folks out there liked my speed square video, and somebody requested that they wanted to learn some more about the speed square. So I was going to teach y'all a little bit about how to do some basic framing, and more importantly on that, how to do rafter layout and how to cut rafters. So let's jump right into this and I'll show you the basics on everything you need to know. Alright, now the first thing that you need to do for laying out your rafters on your building is the number one thing that you're going to do is decide what pitch you're going to set your roof at. Now for demonstration purposes for this model we're going to do it 6 and 12, meaning for every 12 inches of run there's 6 inches of rise. And it's pretty common out there. There's a lot of 4 and 12. 12 and 12 is a common one, but just for this one we're going to do it on 6 and 12. Now that you know that, you need to know what's the width of your building. And since this one's really short, it's 36 inches or 3 feet. Now then, if you know both those numbers, you can determine how long that you're going to make your rafters. Now, if you bought a Swanson Speed Square, they come with a little blue book, and we're going to turn it to the page that shows your building widths for laying out rafters. Now, I know it's really hard to see if you can see it at all, but you're just going to have to trust me and I'll tell you some of the stuff that says in here. Right over here where it says common, this here is going to be your common for our rafters that's going to run on the roof. Now, you want to go down to 6 for 6 and 12 and come over to the common, and it says right here that your common is going to be 1 foot 8 inches and 1/8 of an inch. So altogether that's 20 and 1/8 inches. Now then, that means that's the distance between the edge of your building and the center of the building. So that's from your seat cut to your plumb cut that's going to go on your main beam that spans the building. Now then, we're working with 2x4 stock here, so you're going to have to subtract 3/4 of an inch. That's half of this 2x4 for the plumb cut that you're going to have on the ridge. Now then, once you know all that, you're going to have to add some past your seat cut, meaning that if you were to cut that at 20 and 1/8 inches, which is right up here, that's all you would have. You wouldn't have any tailstock to mount your fascia or your soffit to. So typically the way you do that is you're just going to add 8, 10, 12 inches, sometimes 14 inches, 16 inches, and just let them run wild. And that way that you can go back and snap a line and cut them straight, and everything will be nice and plumb and true. So now that we know all this information, we know that we have 20 and 1/8, and we got to subtract 3/4 of an inch. So that's let's see, 19 and 3/8. That's going to be our distance between the seat cut and the ridge plumb cut. And then we're going to add 12 inches to this model, and together the entire length will be 31 and 3/8 inches. Now that you know all that, let's go cut a pattern and make sure this is going to work. Alright, when you go to cut your rafters, it's a pretty straightforward process. There's only about 3 cuts that you have to make. Now the first one that you're going to cut is the plumb cut right up on the ridge. So what you're going to do is just find you a corner on the end of your board, take your speed square, put it right on that corner where it pivots at, and then go to your common on your square, which we said was 6, and then go ahead and scribe you a line. Okay, that line's right there on the corner. Take your tape, hook onto that edge, and come down 19 3/8. That's where we said our seat cut was going to be. Mark your line. Put your square back right on that line where the pivot is. Set it back to 6. And just grab your line. Okay. Now, we're going to come up 1.5 inches off the line from the bottom portion down here, because that's our width of our 2x4. And then you're going to take your speed square again and lay it on the line that we did our 6 and 12 and draw you a 9-degree line to that one so it runs perpendicular to it. Alright, and there's your seat cut. Now then, we've got to add some for our tailstock, and we said 1 foot. So we're going to come down to where our seat cut ends and scribe, oops, yeah, 1 foot to make it 31 3/8 inches. And just grab you a 9-degree line, and that's all your cuts. So this will be this cut, that'll be your waist. It'll be this cut, this will be your waist. It'll be that cut, and that'll be your waist. Alright, this rafter that we're going to put on is going to go right here. And they just slip on from the seat back, line up here up on the ridge. There's a few things that you want to look at to make sure that it's fitting correctly. You want to make sure that your seat cut down here at the bottom, there's no huge gaps in there or anything, and this one here was cut pretty tight. I'm pretty proud about that. But you don't want anything sticking up any higher than about 1/8 of an inch. If you let it go any higher than that, you risk well, splitting the wood when you nail it, and it just doesn't fit good. It's not going to work very well. Also up here on the ridge, the same thing. You want to make sure everything is nice and tight, and you want to make sure that the top half of the ridge does not, or the rafter does not stick past the ridge. But if you can get it to look just like that all the way around, you're doing well. Once you make a practice piece like this one, you can use it as your template to make all your other pieces. Just lay it down on your board like so. Make sure everything's lined up where you want it. Take you a pencil and scribe all your lines. Once you do that, cut out your waist and keep going with it. Okay, for nailing off these rafters on here, we've got our joist in here mounted, and you're just going to put your seat right up against there. Make sure it's tight up here on your ridge. Now, not all codes, but most codes, they tell you you're going to toe nail 1 nail into the plate. This here's your plate, and then you're going to put 2 nails into your joist. That's the code. Now, some codes differed, and if you don't know yours, check your local listings. But the trick to this, a lot of people, they put them too shallow going into the plate with the toenail, and what happens is you split your wood. And so what you got to do is you got to come up way up high and be sure you get enough angle on it. Alright, that's 1 toenail into the plate, and then 2 into the joist. And it's easy as that. Now I'll show you what you do on your ridge. Up here on the ridge, you're just going to put 2 nails, 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom, and that's the code. Be sure you put a little bit of angle on there so that you don't go through your top half up here. So act like you're nailing parallel with the ridge that you've set, or not with the ridge, but with the rafter. And that's all it is to it.